what we're calling a foundation alpha. And that's in the fairly near future. Just depends on bugs and cleanup and all that good stuff. So I'm not a professional streamer. I'm a reasonably good first-person shooter player and not half bad, and played a lot. So all I can really do is just show you our game and warts and all, and answer questions about it. I will actually address one thing. If it's not clear to people, the Web3 version of the game is entirely optional. If you just want to play it on Steam or Epic, you'll never even see it. You don't have to touch it. If you're against crypto, peace. I get it. And if you don't play the game because of it, that's sad, but it is what it is. We are excited about that the things we can do with the Web3 version, but they're the exact same things we're going to be doing with Steam Community Marketplace. So anyways, just want to get that out of the way. That being said, what I'm going to do here is, I wouldn't call this an alpha stream, by the way, Flep said. This is a very pre-alpha stream. So anyways, here we go without further ado. If the video quality sucks, I'm sorry. I'm not all set up for streaming, and we will be doing that properly in the very near future. So I'm stoked to be even showing anybody this game this morning. So I don't know if the screen quality is going to be any good. We'll see. There we go. Oh, Flab, that's great to hear. Try to help as much as I can, wherever I can. Honest to God, I love being involved with the day-to-day live operations and helping customers. So welcome to Reaper Actual. Hold on, let me get so I can see the chat at the same time. There we go. All right, can you all see that? Bueno. All right, so couple things right now. Let me see. We have servers running right now in Dallas, Sao Paulo, Frankfurt. We actually have a few more that are in other versions of the game. We got one live in Japan and I think Korea. Not sure yet. Cool. All right. So I'm only going to be answering questions via chat. Sorry, not going to invite people to speak for now. All right, here we go. First of all, let me just make sure what am I on? Okay. All right. As you can see, this isn't a full-featured settings screen yet. We're getting there. But all that being said, let's jump into the game. I'm cutting out. Sorry. There we go. So it's kind of cool. So welcome to Reaper Actual. Let me just show you, first of all, where I am. This is my particular player base. Let me start with what a player base is. So a player base is your home in the world of Reaper Actual. You actually, you can go over here and you can craft your guns. And you'll notice, by the way, those of you familiar with first-person shooter games, this looks an awful lot like a kill house, and you're damn straight it is. Bases in our world are places that you can go to basically, put your stuff when you're back from missions. Some people have called that extraction. Of course it is. Yeah, there are absolutely extraction shooter elements in here. You have you can have your vault, and I don't have a ton in this. The vault size is something that's by base, by the way. I don't have anything in here right now just because I've been loading up and this is a test account, so I don't do a ton. Now, bases in our world, the idea is that you can have multiple bases. We haven't set a high number yet, but the idea is that you'll be able to have these all over Morova as we grow it. And bases come in all shapes and sizes. This is a warehouse space. Now, a warehouse space is designed to be more for the crafters and the manufacturers. It will let you manufacture different things. Use your crafting to make guns in mass, and you're actually able to when you manufacture those things, they go into your vault. But different bases have different capacities for crafting. So a lot of people say, well, our base is going to be pay to win. They are one of the two key things we're selling. Those two things are Reapers, which are just operators. You know, it's a fancy name for operators, but we have some lore behind that. And the other thing they're there for, though, is, you know, if you, for example, if you happen to have a vehicle, this one happens to be a garage, or have a garage, for example. There's even an advanced warehouse space that actually has a helipad on top of it. It's kind of cool because, yeah, you have land, sea, and air vehicles in our game. And your base is essentially a place that you come back to. And by the way, outfits, which are clans in our game, are going to have their own bases. As you can see, this is pretty big. It's big enough that, you know, it's that you can fit quite a few people in here if you wanted. But somebody asked about, you know, bases are raidable. They are raidable under the right conditions. So in our game, if you go out there and just you're a roaming death squad, you basically attract heat, very similar to GTA Online or other, you know, similar games with that sort of mechanic. If your heat level gets high enough before you get back to your base can be raided. Now, bases favor defenders very heavily. You're able to place turrets, and I'm explaining it today. I'm not going to do a full demo. We're still putting a bunch of stuff in here. And you can place turrets, but also your other Reapers that you're not playing as, like I forget which one I'm playing as right now, but your other Reapers hang out in your base, and they will defend it with you. Now, your base can't be raided when you're not online. And again, it's completely optional gameplay, because if you choose, you can't even have your base raided as long as you're, you know, blowing off your heat before you get back to your base. But what did we really want out of that feature? What we're trying to achieve is those, you know, action hero movie moments where you and your buddies go out in a Jeep. You're doing a mission, and I'll show you missions in just a second. And the missions end up being you end up killing too many people, players or NPCs, where you're attracting so much attention that your heat level goes up, and then other players can follow you in your base. So what was in our head when we were thinking about this is the idea of a you know, a car chase, you know, bunch of people on your tail as you're just getting out of doing a cool mission and you're trying to make it back to your base, but you've generated too much heat. So there's a 1 minute window when they can sneak into your base. But just because they sneak into your base doesn't mean shit, because what ends up happening is you've set your base up with turrets, you've set your base up with traps, and it's really very much defenders have the advantage. Now, if for some reason they kill you all, there's, you know, because there's a respawn timer. If they kill you all, then they can go to your vault, and you'll play a, you know, get into the vault mini game, and you have access to some of the things in there. And we're going to make a subsection of your vault available for players to steal. You can never lose your base, so don't worry about that. You can lose the things that you put in as defensive emplacements, but what we're really trying to do is make each base its own kind of deathmatch level. We also have, for example, bunker bases, which this base has a few ways in. A bunker base only has one way in. So there's advantages, there's disadvantages, and also bases aren't just, this base exists in the game world. So you can actually see it from the outside. And once you actually are, once you're actually in your base and the heat is off and nobody can come in. We're making the base raids, you know, very impactful and trying to get, yeah, the rats. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I would love to have pets, man. I'm a dog guy myself. I've got 3 Yorkies. So what we are trying to do is make the base a fairly safe place, but it can still be rated under the right conditions. So each base has an interior and an exterior, and if you go out that way, you go into the game world. Bases have and they can all be upgraded, by the way. You can upgrade crafting tables. We're not sure we're going to call them crafting, but it'll be like 3D printers. So let me show you a few other things while I'm here. So first of all, our mission screen. So I don't have any right now because I'm not out in the game world. But once I go out, and if I stay in here long enough, you will see missions actually being generated. There's also, here's some of our different Reapers. Viper. Here's Thor. Here's Zero. Notice that it's called operators in this build. We decided on the name Reapers, and it just hasn't been updated. I'm playing an older build here, very much on purpose. We have a whole lot of cool new characters. So, what are Reapers? Reapers are the character that you play in the game. These are collectible. Each Reaper comes with its own loadout. Each Reaper comes with a set of abilities. Each Reaper comes with a set of perks that you get at your base. So some Reapers are better at, gunsmithing or gear generation. So it's will we get any femboy Reapers? I have not given any thought to that. So basically, from our perspective, the Reapers are just like operators in other games, except they're unique too. So each Reaper comes with a set of abilities, and this loadout, and they also come with these base perks. So some Reapers are better than others at helping you craft, for example. But the loadout part is very important. I'll get to the more on this stuff in a second here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to deploy into the game world since we haven't seen that yet. So right now, this is the very top part of Morova. There is actually an entire other huge island underneath here. For now, we've hidden all that stuff just because we're focused on the top 25%. This world is huge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to deploy at Cam Airport, King Alaric Airport, and here we go. No, the game is not futuristic. It's not like that. This is a modern warfare style game. And also, I'm using that term on purpose too, because our gameplay is very much. You'll see a few of this thing as I first come in. We should leave it up a little longer. It was adjusting to the light. So first thing you'll notice how it's kind of dark. Let me change the time of day now. And of course, no, not everybody can do this. Here, now it's noon. Now you can get a good look at sort of our game world. No, we don't all get hacked. Sorry. There are some perks to go in with being a game developer on a game like this. Now I'm on the island of Morova. Now, Morova is this beautiful island somewhere in the Mediterranean. I think we have a good idea where it is, but obviously it's fictional. And you're not going to see a lot of civilians around for a simple reason. Morova's been going through a civil war. We have an awesome backstory for that we've written. And remember, this game's not done, by the way, so you will see gray box assets like this one, and they're all over the place. So I'm not even going to try to call them out anymore. Well, I suck at that, actually. But the idea of Morova is that it's all the civilians have fled this brutal civil war. These 5 factions have taken over, and these 5 factions all are vying for space. So we call the game PvEvEVE. And the reason we have that extra E at the end there is that the factions fight with each other, even when you're not there. This game is a full simulation, and they all have their own motivations. And we use this AI that we call Cerberus to move them around. Now, Cerberus gives you missions. Let me see if I've got any available to me right now. There we are. So here's some of these are fairly simple. These are some example ones right now that we're using internal for tests. So stop Obsidian Syndicate from stealing electronic components. I have to kill 5 of them. Let me accept the mission. Now, the idea is that as I'm going through the game world, you'll see events and you'll see things offered to me. And by the way, I'm alone in here right now, so this is a fully PvP game. So I'm really here to just to give you a tour. We'll see some AI. I think this version had a significantly older version of our AI, so not sure how great that's going to look yet, but we'll see. So like I said, Morova has been undergoing a civil war, and people have fled just because it's, oh shit, there's some enemy and they don't notice me yet. Let me see if I've got anything other than a shoddy. Okay, I do not. Well, here goes nothing. Let me actually go over here because I think I may be able to get something inside and keep the battle localized. But if they do see me, bad things are going to happen to me. All right, what do I got here? All right. I like that better. Let me move that over. Secondary. Okay, get some stuff over there. You'll notice I've also got armor plating. Now, by the way, are you noticing something that's missing? It probably isn't immediately obvious to you. That is, you don't see a mini-map. So our game is all about crafting cool gear and finding cool stuff. So you can have a mini-map that comes with a satellite transceiver, which you have to craft or you have to be lucky enough to find. And if you do, what ends up happening is you can get different types of mini maps. You can get audio ones that are, listen to the surrounding area and tell you if somebody's close. You can get satellite view ones, which are great except for when you're indoors. You can get heat sensor and infrared, all kinds of different ones. And it's, oh shit. Okay, well, actually, I think I have a better chance taking these guys. All right, sorry about the cussing in advance, by the way. I'm a horrible cusser. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. And I am going to do a few other things here. Let me show you a few things. So I mentioned that we are a real world simulation game. Let me show you what that means. It means we have weather. The reason I set that is that I can walk around without the NPCs. If they get line of sight on me, great, but it's a lot harder for them to hear. See that heat level indicator? The game isn't stealth, but you have to be smart. If you just go around on a flat out killing spree, bad shit's going to happen. And that's when your base can get raided. Also, over time, if it rains long enough, you'll actually see puddles forming. It's kind of cool. Yeah, the animations are getting there. We're pretty happy with it so far. We got a hell of a lot of them in the game. You're going to see world streaming issues. Like I said, this is a pre-alpha version of the game. Not going to be ashamed of that. It's developer, whatever, is what it is. Yeah, and obviously, I mean, I don't know why it's cool, but I remember when the person that put this in, Ada, she put this stuff in, and it's kind of cool to see that it's outside to inside. I don't know why that's so exciting to me, but it really is. Or, how about this? Ooh, suddenly it's not raining anymore. It's nighttime. So is your team made up of NPCs? No, NPCs don't group with you. I mentioned the other Reapers. They stay at your base so only the Reaper that you're playing as is who comes into the world. So that's why it's good to catch or to have different Reapers. Now, by the way, I mentioned before that we're going to sell two major things, a bunch of smaller ones too, but the major things we're selling are bases and reapers. And you may say, oh, wow, but that's, that's pay to win. It isn't in any way, shape, or form. First of all, this is a fully skill-based game, and we have to make money somehow, so we're selling reapers and bases. But you can also earn every single reaper and all of the different the bases as well. If you want to just do that with in-game money, peace. We are going to be selling the game at first. Eventually, longer term, we'll go free to play, but we'll sell the game at first, and then we'll of course put new base types up for sale. But we're serious about making it so that players can actually earn this stuff. This isn't just some high grind thing we're doing. We actually really want players to play. And our bet is over time, people will be cool. A new base came out. Let me just buy that real quick. And yeah, that helps support us. That's how we make money. This is a live service game, not going to run from that. But we're also making sure that there isn't any real advantage from one base over another in terms of power. There are, like, for example, a bunker base has one entrance and one exit. That's a huge difference from a warehouse base, which has multiple ingress points, which kind of is harder for if you're in your base and you're by yourself to cover all the entrances. And they come with different hard points, and they have advantages and disadvantages vis-a-vis each other. So one of my favorite ways to talk about this is location. Just like the real world, bases have, bases and homes or whatever you want to call them have in-game locations. Now, some people are like, that's cool. I want to have one out in the boonies. And that's where I will be playing. Why do I like that? Well, if you look at a game like GTA Online, some of the bases are kind of hidden and they're cool. Some are more closer to where the action is. In our game, it's really about your play style. If you are, excuse me, if you are the kind of person who wants to like hide out in the boonies, great. Get a base out. There's bases of all types all over the world. So it's really about your play style. If you are with a large outfit, which is what we call clans, you can own bigger and bigger bases. Solos can own those bases too, but it's going to be a lot harder for you to defend. It's one of our in-game. We don't, this is an MMO FPS that we're calling it an open world persistent shooter, just because unlike an MMO, on each server, we're going to max out at probably around 200 players. And the reason for that is we're using Unreal, which is great, but it does have some upper end limitations. We plan on over time adding to that number, but the world is huge. And that's the reason that it's so huge is that, number one, we have land, sea, and air vehicles. And number two, you can actually own vehicles in this game. So, it's going to be fairly easy to traverse the map, and we want to make vehicles a big deal. So I'm kind of cheating. I'm hiding out in here right now. There may or may not be any NPCs. One of the cool things about this game, I mentioned this thing, Cerberus, that controls the AI. Here's what it's designed to do. It is designed to be kind of a shit magnet. So it might assign me an HVT mission. In fact, let me just see if there's any. Nope. Let me see if there's any in back two. Nope, nothing. None of those are being. There's one of my favorites. I'm gonna abandon this one. These are offered to you in real time, by the way. And then if players are getting heat around you, and they eventually, you'll get a bounty placed on you if you're shooting too much, without kind of dissipating your heat. When that, oh shit, motherfucker, sorry about that. Fuck, god damn it. See that? A bounty's been placed on me. Now, if there were other players in the world right now that were in the vicinity, they would see that, and a compass, this cool thing comes up on the compass if they accept the bounty mission, which shows a general direction in a large area towards your target. Does that make sense? No, this game does not have territory control. The AI does. They take over different parts of the world. So, for example, I think it's Metro, which is one of the factions, and there are a bunch of ex-police officers that are battling other factions on the game. And when multiple factions are fighting, you'll literally see NPC fighting with each other on a regular basis in our game. What we don't have in yet is the indicator above their heads showing which ones are friendly. That's actually in a more recent version, but I'm not playing that version right now just because there's some problems with a few things. Now see, if I walk carefully, he shouldn't hear me. Oh shit, somebody saw me. Yeah, sure. A little bit more on the factions. I'm going to explain what they are in general, not go into each specific one. We got a bunch of reveals, that sort of thing. Not really even supposed to be streaming today. I just felt like it because I've been, it's like a pent up thing after 2 years of working on this game. Just to be able to show it is a dream for me. So I'm super proud of the team. And oh shit. Yeah, I can't show the crafting table in this version. Crafting is still, it's a large scale feature that is actually just about to go in the game into our more public facing one. So I will show that, but just at a later date, and it probably won't be me. We actually have professionals on staff that many of whom are surprised as hell I'm even doing this morning, but I woke up feeling good on a Saturday. Oh, okay. Remember what I said? Notice they're not shooting at me. This guy might be. Whoa, motherfucker. God damn it. All right, that's how it goes, folks. I will go back to my base when I die. And that's the death loop. You'll notice there's no death screen. It's a little embarrassing, but you're seeing a pre-alpha version of the game, so it is what it is. So I appear back at my base, and anything that I died with is on my body now, and it's back there. So you may go, well, why do you have a gun in your hand again? Because each Reaper comes with a loadout. Unlike traditional extraction games, our Reapers actually start with core loadouts, but they're just basic things. You're not going to want to go playing with that stuff. And because I didn't extract, I don't have anything in my vault currently, just because we wiped them the other day when we were testing. So let me go. And I'm going to deploy in again, except this time I'm going to cheat a little bit and come in here. So let me just explain a little bit about long-term. So we have these subway stations, which you can currently extract at, or metro stations, I should say. The metro stations right now are where you extract, but you also extract with a flare gun, which you'll call a helicopter. You can also extract if you're with the flare gun, depending on where you are, and you have to actually carry a flare gun with you. We really want to make these things very, they're placed strategically around the world, but extracting means that you're putting a target on your head too. You can also extract by simply getting in a vehicle and driving back to your base. Let me deploy to north. No. Not all extraction is not at the subway. To be clear, you can have a flare gun and be extracted anywhere. A helicopter comes in, takes you. We're definitely not trying to make it that way. Now, notice when I log back in, it's early morning, and it's early morning because the day-night cycle right now, I think it's set to 1 hour. So night is only right now, I think currently 15 minutes. We know not everybody loves nighttime gameplay, and we're still trying to figure out what's fun. Oh shit. Motherfucker. I'm a terrible customer, man. I'm sorry. Dude. Oh, fuck. All right. Yes, I'm running away like a coward because I have a shotgun. Ooh. Hello. Ah, that can help. Now, if I were smart, you'll notice I'm getting attachments. So hold on. Do I need anything else? I've already got a vest. You can, by the way, the cool thing about our day-night cycle, let me just show this just because, let me get over here to show it though. So I'm just going to point this out just because it's kind of cool. It's not like we take day-night cycles and we take, realistic world very, very seriously. That moon waxes and wanes. It's full sometimes. It's completely dark sometimes. Kind of cool. I'll change it back in a second. But I actually like nighttime gameplay. We're adding night vision content, all the good stuff. Yeah, if there was a charity swear jar, I would be broke. What the heck? Something's going on over there. Don't know what it is. The hell? Shit. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a day and go back to my base with this stuff. Right now, we're building out this cool metro system. It'll have, actual trains, the whole 9 yards. But what I'm going to do right now is just extract from here and take these guns and bring some stuff back to my my vault. Yeah, swear count of the jar, that would be bad for me. I have to apologize. Uh-oh. Man, thought I was extracting. Yeah, by the way, like the NPCs here, they're not meant to be bullets. This isn't a bullet sponge game. It's not like that. This version we play with the settings all the time. All right. What I'll do now is I'll answer some questions. I actually have some work to get done before I can go to a family event. But what I'll do now is go ahead and fire questions at me, and I'll happily answer them. How much stuff can you carry? It's Tetris style inventory, so you can carry as much as how big your backpack is. We've been playing around. Are we going to have a weight system? We may, but we're going to keep it simple and light if we do that. And weapons. So just like in Call of Duty, different weapons for different things. Like there are sniper rifles in the game. I didn't happen to get any when I was killing, mostly because the NPCs were wiping the floor with me. Yeah, you saw my heat level go up. How many kills at what heat level does your base damage or base become a potential target? I think it is currently set to you have to have a heat level of 4 or 5, which you have to slaughter a lot of NPCs, but we give more weight to players. That's deliberate. So yeah. Any other questions? No, you're not hearing sound from the game because I'm not logged here. There you go. Here. I'm assuming you heard that. Yeah, I'm going between Discord and the game, and that's why. Yeah, I'm not going to show the crafting table yet, where it's still work in progress enough that I don't want to share that just yet. But what I will say is it's an important part of our game. This is a crafter's game in a very meaningful way. It's very much MMO style crafting with, you put in the recipes or you put in the resources that you get, and the better the resources, the better the outcomes. And people have asked how deep is the crafting going to go? Extremely crazy deep. That is we're mixing a massively multiplayer role-playing game with a shooter, and it's got a lot of that MMO depth, but we're really, really trying hard to make sure that the shooting fidelity, it feels like a Call of Duty. Yes, I know different people like that and don't, but we love it. I play a shit ton of COD myself, mostly Warzone, and I love it. This isn't a battle royale, but we're going to enable modding. So if players wanted to take our world and build a battle royale over it and rent a server from us and run it on their server, more power to them. That's the entire point. We are building a game world, but we want other people to be able to do cool stuff. An example I use a lot is imagine if, and we'll be doing game modes as well. We call those game modes. And game modes are either they can take the entire island and make a mode out of that. Like, for example, let's say somebody wanted a night only server. We would be cool with that. Or it's always raining. But it could be much deeper than that. Let's say that there's, it's December 1st, and what that means, it's Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Let's say somebody made a, Rakatomi Plaza, and Rakatomi Plaza has been under construction, and you see this construction site in the world, and all of a sudden, in Christmas time, it's this new building appears there. The construction cranes are gone, and the building appears. Players can go into the building, and it starts an instance where it's players against terrorists. Or somebody wants to make a battle royale mob where the entire game world is used for a huge battle royale. That's exactly what we want to open up. It's from my perspective, we want to be an open book about our development. We're coming out after 2 years of hard work, only because we're at the point now where we are excited to share it. There's also just to let you know, let me just explain a little more on the Web3 elements, because I understand that Web3 isn't everybody's cup of tea. Well, on Steam and Epic, you'll never even see it. I mean, nothing. There's no sneaky backdoor ways of taking stuff out. It is straight up. We don't allow trading of it, so you'll never see it. I understand some people hate crypto, but it's completely optional in a real way. This isn't some, we're going to change things later. That's not, no. Steam doesn't even allow it, and I respect them for that. Our investors understood from day one that we are making a awesome game, period. With some crypto elements, our goal there is to make this ecosystem outside of the game where players can buy and sell stuff that they've either made in the game or found in the game. But just like in Call of Duty, if you pick up a gun, it's only as good as the person who's playing it. And one person likes a sniper rifle, another person likes an SMG. What is cool though is we'll allow people to build the same things we do. So things like gun skins. We want them to be able to build new actual new Reapers as well, including fully 3D model, the whole 9 yards. What we are going to be doing is giving away the tools that we use to make this stuff, and then we're going to let players sell that stuff to each other. And the best of the best stuff we can include in the core game, which we will be, it'll be vanilla servers. And then community servers, they can either opt into being vanilla within a subset of rules, or they can actually just be straight community where you can do anything and anything goes. The really important thing though is that every single anything graphical that users want to put into the game must go through us. We're not going to see any penises or swastikas happen on our watch, and we're focused on making sure that the kind of stuff that's put in is high quality. So, that's it for Web3. It's super straightforward, and it's really no different than being able to buy and sell stuff on the Steam community market. So I wanted to, explain that. I see that Off the Grid is like this. There are items selling for $3,000, and it's not even officially released yet. So here's the thing. If you look on Counter-Strike 2, and you go and you look in Steam Community Market, and then you also look at stuff that's outside of Steam Community Market, you'll see crazy prices on stuff, $24,000. That's for a game that doesn't have crypto. So that stuff exists already. I see a lot of people worried about price inflation. So if you don't like it, just play on Steam and you'll never see that stuff. What people will buy and sell things for is really up to them. If somebody values a skin super valuably, great. More power to them. That's a wonderful thing. But that same gun isn't going to do more damage in the game. Just like Counter-Strike knife isn't more powerful because it's rare. It's actually the opposite. It's people that see you with a cool knife in Counter-Strike 2. I absolutely guarantee you they will go for you much harder because they see you've got some uber expensive knife that you bought offline. Peace to those people that want to that want to spend money on these things. I, as a game player, I will tell you straight up, I do not care what somebody else spent on something, and if it's cooler looking to them, all right, it is. So I just don't see. It's not going to affect the game in any way, and even then, you have to opt into it in the first place by playing on our website. Now, are we excited about what we're going to do with that Web3 ecosystem? We are, but here's the thing: what we're excited about isn't us making money. It's actually players buying and selling with each other. And the most important thing to us and to me specifically is seeing the end users being able to create things for other users. Long term, we would love to be making less than 10% of the cool stuff for this world. Now, will some of the stuff that people make its way onto the other servers? Absolutely. We want players to be able to sell their stuff in our normal marketplace, which we'll have just like every other game. Think of it as a free-to-play marketplace, whatever you want to call it. Standard video game stuff these days. And would I love for us to showcase some of the best art and best, coolest looking things? Absolutely. But we're also going to make sure that we keep our prices normal. Anything that we sell, you're not going to see any craziness from us. So, in a nutshell, we see the Web3 aspects of the game as simply an extension of what you see on Steam Community Market. Will you see some crazy prices there? Sure, you will. But it's not us charging that. It's, if somebody, like, let's say there's somebody that's a really good artist, and they make a Vanta Black gun skin. The Vanta Black supposedly the deepest black, and it looks awesome. Awesome, and let them choose what they want to sell it for. And if other people want to pay money for that, let them. This is so. This is absolutely not a thing that anybody has to see or be a part of. Just play the Steam version. Just play the Epic version. You won't even have to look at it if you're really adamantly against it. I will tell you that coming into making this game, I would say that I did not have Web3 in my sights. The more I looked at it, and the more I thought of ways that we could do this in a way that didn't feel like it was going to in any way hurt the game and only help it, I think we found a good mix for it, and I stand by what we're doing. Do I recognize that that's negative to a lot of people? Absolutely, I do get that, but that's why it's optional. Okay, slide drum. It needs a reason to exist. Well, let me start with something simple. When I went out to raise money, it was difficult. It was a difficult time in the game industry. The big layoffs had happened, everywhere in the industry, and I had a dream for a long time of making this game, and I was able to, put together an awesome team of founders with me: Matt Higbee, Tremel Isaac, Tammy McDonald, Michael Hunley, and raise money. We got some investors that that really loved the vision. And some of those investors were crypto investors, and it's as simple as that. I'm not gonna, I don't want to try to hide behind fancy marketing BS. It's just as simple as that. We got the game made because there were some investors that believed in the vision, and every single one of them bought into the idea that it was completely optional and that it would end up being a small part of our overall revenue in the game. So yeah, and I don't blame you on the skeptical part, Slide Drum. I get it, but yes, Yaps will have full controller support day one. Stoked about that. I myself, my God, I worked at PlayStation for Sony total at 23 years, and my ability to use a controller in an FPS is non-existent. So, sorry, Psychophobic. I don't know what's going on. I think everybody else is hearing me. You see if everybody can still hear me, right? Yeah, I'm not going to ignore questions. There's no, well, what's the point of that? I mean, it's just, I'll answer them honestly. Not everybody's going to like my answer. I get it. I'm just looking through the, walk around while I talk. Yeah, well, that's easier said than done when I'm trying to read. Yeah, we will, by the way, we'll have an NDA at least at the start of the Foundation Alpha, but largely just because we want a steady drumbeat of cool features. By the way, it's day-night cycle even inside the base. Hold on. Yeah, I can't. It's hard for me to see the questions when I'm playing. Are there any limitations around moving NFTs and tokens around on the different marketplaces? Basically what's going to happen on Web3, if you choose to play it on reaperactual.com, you will actually have you'll have the ability to take stuff to wherever you want it to. You can sell it on our marketplace. We'll have a non-custodial wallet, or you can link your own stuff in if you want to. Let me head back out for a second and maybe go to. Let me cheat a little bit. I'm not sure if the gym is working in this version. That's kind of fun to show sometimes. Some people get into that. Some people don't. I get it. I'm not even positive the gym server is up right now, so this may not even work at all. Yeah, it looks like it isn't. Crap. Oh well, I tried. So I'm gonna stop playing the game right now, and I'll answer a few more questions before I gotta go. But I do thank you all for watching, and if you have hard questions for me, just know I'm not going to dodge them. I don't answer everyone only because I can't. It's hard to actually do that. I think I'm not sharing anymore. Good. Okay, I'm not. So, any other questions I can answer? Yeah, I hate going to the gym. I really should be go to McDonald's a lot more than the gym. Oh yeah, I'm like Matt Higby's going to jump on. He's a chief creative officer. He can answer a lot of the stuff a lot better than I can. So Twitch, if I purchase a game that ends up free to play, they always have some form of compensation, and we will. Like there will be many things you can get exclusively, in the earlier version of it. We will have some Reapers that you can only get from joining us early, and a few things like that. Worried about a 50 Reaper Zerg. Well, it's an open world and it's huge. I cannot emphasize how big it is. So I'm actually worried the other way around. And so when we launch the game in early 26, we're going to support up to 200 players per server. Our goal, though, over time, is to get that to be a lot more. Do you have to pre-order to join the alpha? Yeah, there will be for our Foundation Alpha. We will be charging for that, and let me just be blunt about why. So we've raised 30.5 million to date. We still have a ways to go to finish the game. And so when we're selling things early, it's because we want an early audience that is in helping us test the game. It is going to be an alpha. It is not going to be some polished game. In fact, what we'll be doing is we'll be holding play tests in certain areas. Like I didn't show today Alaria, which is one of our huge cities. I say one of because we're having multiple at ship. And Alaria is all about, I should knock on wood and say, looks good for multiple cities. We have another one in development right now called Forteza, which is this cool looking fortress town. It was actually in the trailer briefly early on. You saw this kind of European looking city. It's pretty awesome. How does land size compared to PS2 continent? My God, it has been so long. You know what? I actually can find the answer to that question. I'm going to have to actually ask somebody to get the data for me. I don't remember how big those things were. But compared to like Al Mazrah if you're a Warzone player, it's about 4x the size of that map, which I love. I still think it's the best Warzone map. Some people have asked me like I read an article saying, "Oh, I'm over 60 and am I a gamer?" Yeah, I'm a 4 to 5 hour a day / night player. On weekends, it's more like 8 hours. My current jam outside the game, it has been Warzone, but I got into Star Citizen recently, and I got to tell you, I love the game and I'm having a good time. In fact, I got to go out with my family, but after that, I'm probably going to chill in with my Oregon Star Citizen and go do some PvP and kill some other players. Yeah, I'm not at 60 yet. I'm at 56, but like I greatly enjoy it when I read stuff like, "Oh, I'm out of touch with gaming today." Like the hell I am. I put over 2,000 hours into League. I've got 600-700 hours into Dota 2. I'm like I friggin' love games. I make games because I love playing them. Just a full on stop. That's what I love. Linux support? No, we don't have that planned. I'm sorry. Fishbone, Linux is near and dear to my heart actually, but it's a pain in the ass to support, and that's a future thing. Just like consoles, our goal is to launch the game on multiple consoles, but not at the start. We're gonna go for PC first, make sure we have a great game, and then we'll move it over to consoles. Heck, by then, hopefully it's gonna be the next gen consoles. And no, I don't have any knowledge of those or when they're coming out. What about skins players buy from other guys? Can they also sell those to players? In the Web3 portion is mainly going to be both stuff you get in the game. So if you get a rifle in the game and it's rare or above, you're welcome to sell it. But what makes it rare though are things like a different skin on it, that sort of thing. So we're really focused on making sure this, that stuff is fair in the first place. We also don't want to flood of crap up there on the marketplace. And players can sell their bases. They can actually sell their Reapers if they want to on the Web3 version. And our goal is to make some of the Reapers very hard to get and exclusive. And we want that to be there. But the same thing will be true on Steam Marketplace. And players will be able to set their. Can you commit to under 100? Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah. The under $100 so early. There'll be a $29.99 price point. There'll be a couple that are higher, but nowhere. $100. No, that wouldn't be right. Are they skins? Are the Reapers effectively just skins? Absolutely not. And no, they have abilities. They have all kinds of cool things that makes them unique. They have loadouts. The loadouts are a very powerful thing in our game because it means that unlike in some other extraction games where you can literally end up with nothing and you have to go in with just your hands, that was never our goal. We don't want it to be punishing that way. Exclusive Reaper sounds pay to win. Absolutely not. So something I should mention about, let me explain Reapers a little more just so you understand. So a Reaper is a unique, it's the sum of all the parts underneath it. So for example, Reapers share from an ability set. I can't go into the size of that yet, but the idea is that if you collect, Reaper Bob, for example, and then there's another Reaper Bill, they may share one of the abilities. What makes them unique is the combination of everything that they have. So when I say exclusive Reapers, we'll also do things like, if you look in League of Legends, how they have, like pool party, different characters. We want to do different versions of different Reapers too. That we think that's an important part. So yeah, of course we're going to have. When I say exclusive, it doesn't mean all the players can't get them, but it's like, will there be exclusive ones from the alpha? Sure, but people will still be able to buy those, and most of them we're going to make available anyways. And people, if they want to, can go buy those on Steam Community Market. And we do want to make it so that people can get things exclusively. But we're so focused on the cosmetic aspect of that that we want to have all kinds of different stuff. How are we going to keep the persistent world dynamic and non-repetitive? So that's at the heart of what Cerberus is. And let me explain something too, because I've seen some stuff. I'm the one that put up the wording about what's AI generated in our world. Let me clear that up. So Cerberus is basically this AI that we've built into the game, not AI in the ChatGPT sense, which is, it's kind of funny nowadays. You have to explain that you're talking about a game AI orchestrator. So the world is different every time you log into it. First of all, if you log out for dinner or something, you come back, it could be a different time of day. All of the NPC factions are controlled by Cerberus, and Cerberus is creating and issuing new missions all the time. So some people had asked about, like, what do we have that's Gen AI? Here we have two things. First of all, we create a new overarching story every season, and yes, we will have the normal trappings of a battle pass, and that's what I'm talking about exclusive stuff. Of course, we'll have all that. That's kind of come to be expected these days. We have to make money, folks. That's like the honest truth. And yeah, it's like a game master. That's a great way to look at it. So here's what we do. We craft a storyline for each season. And we write this ourselves. Then we use a mission generation system behind the scene that will create NPCs. Now, when I say create NPCs, I'm not saying it's creating the visual of the NPCs. We do that ourselves. But it'll come up with a name. And let's say that the storyline has the Metro faction taking over the airport. And what that means is that players are unable to use their helicopters to extract unless they have good faction with Metro. But as part of each season, what we are also doing is we're creating a ton of missions. We use an LLM to help us create mission flavor text, but we also have human eyes all over it. It's simply, our goal is that there's so many missions that players are always we're trying to keep things lively and going on at all times, where players aren't feeling like the game world is boring and they're just, if you come in every time, you're going to see the same things. But like it might come up with a throwaway high value target for you to go kill. All that is the words. We also have traders that are going to be coming in and out of the game world that we're telling through the storyline. So we'll come up with maybe a Gen AI face for a trader. That's on purpose because those to us are throwaway and they rotate very often. Everything else in the game is made by hand. So I don't want people to walk away with the wrong idea of what we are thinking about when it comes to AI generated. I see there's a lot of complaining about it. It's like, oh my God, they're using Gen AI to do this. Hey, you know what? It's 2025. Anybody that isn't using it, we are a small studio. So our core company, Distinct Possibility Studios, has just under 40 people, but the total size of the team is 125. When you're doing that, we are not trying to to make a super deep RPG with crazy storytelling. What we are trying to do is have a fun to play MMO shooter where the missions are flavored for the storyline that we're going out. So yes, Schedule One is such a great game. That's such a terrific example of that, Boron. I like that. So our goal here is to try to make something that we can maintain, that we can keep interesting for the players. But what Cerberus does with that is it decides which missions are activated. And the number one thing it does is it makes it so that a player, let's say I'm going out in the world and I log into the game and I'm in my base. I take a mission to go kill a high value target named Colonel Kurtz. For those of you that are old like me, you probably know who that is. It's gonna spawn another mission for another player to defend him. So imagine when I'm going out there to attack, it's another actual player that's defending him. And then after I get Colonel Kurtz's ear, and I have to take it back to across town to this kiosk where I turn stuff in. But as soon as I've got his ear, now there's a bounty placed on my head and a mission created to prevent me from going to do that. So are we looking for translators? That is an area that we will use some form of LLM, but to be honest with you, that stuff's coming later in our development schedule. And we have to actually see what the quality is like. We also use, I should mention this, we use 11 Labs for a lot of our voices in game. And the reason that we do that is they are the only company that I've seen that allows us to pay the actual voice actors who make the models. It is awesome. We're doing it ethically. We're doing it fairly. I care about that stuff too. Is lore development planned for this game? We have 5 years of lore that we've been working on for this game. We have reveals about the nature of the very game world. We are, I think we're doing this the right way, but we're not trying to, we're not trying to pretend we're some huge company. And, if people are going to, get on our case about using Gen AI at all, I'm sorry, but it helps us make parts of the game where rather than having a staff of 1,000, if this game hits like we think it is, of course we're going to add a ton of people to our staff. But we have to. You kind of got to go to war with the army you got, so to speak. And we have a team that is good size, but is not like we're not an Ubisoft team with 2,000 people on it. We just aren't that company. Do the environments also get impacted by player actions? The idea is yes. Do we have destruction? We do not yet. That is something we want to add to the world later. But that's a perfect example of if we had a team of 1,000 people, every damn thing in this game would be destroyable. But it's simply too expensive for us. How do you deal with the ethical and environmental issues of using Gen AI? Well, it's a good question. Ethical, I have no problem with it because everything we're doing is in our own LLM that is, it isn't using outside input. It's actually specific to the data that we feed it, number one. Environmental, I'm not sure what to tell you there. We use a couple of different tools for it. They claim that they care about the environment. I can't really speak to that. And I understand why people care, and I'm glad that they do. My generation screwed up the world, and microplastics and all that bullshit. But what I can't tell you is that we are deeply in the know on the environmental impact of it. And you're right to ask the question. I'm sorry I don't have a better answer, but it's kind of the best one I've got right now. But it's, in terms of the ethical side, I think that's a solved problem. You have to use it right. Here's what I believe. Let's say we were making a fantasy MMO, which, long term we want to do that. But let's say we're making a fantasy MMO and you have an artist and we get this amazing 3D artist and that person makes, 100 different swords. Well, in a particular art style, let's say we wanted, 500 we might have an AI that trained on that artist inside our company's art to help generate more, but it would still all go through a person. It's yeah, Twitchfox, that is true. Some things do scrape the internet. We are choosing to work with LLMs that do not. So besides that, it's all being fed our stories, and a person is hand reviewing all that stuff. Sorry, Psychophobia. Difference between the Web3 client for your website versus the Epic and Steam versions. Very simple. It's the exact same game. There's a link to a button with a link to a outside of game marketplace only on the version from that's going to be launched on our website, where players can buy and sell things, and they can create things that they can sell things there, as long as we approve everything that goes in the game. And the stuff they can buy and sell, they can find stuff in the game and sell it if they want to. Anti-cheat. We have kernel level easy anti-cheat, and so far so good on that front. But what I've learned in running a lot of games is that anti-cheat is a war, and we have soldiers. Let's put it that way. It's something we take deadly serious, because that can ruin any game. But anybody that pretends it's a solved problem, my opinion, the best game that takes care of this the most is League of Legends. But you also have to suffer from intrusions with kernel level anti-cheat. You sort of have to be willing to live with that. And it's a never ending war. You have people that are infiltrating cheater sites, and you're seeing the latest cheats, and you're constantly working on them. We'll sue the shit out of anybody that makes anti-cheats here. We do put aside money for that, even though we're a small company. Bots and multi-account. It's going to be very hard to bot this game. Extremely. Multi-account, sure, you can have multiple accounts. We're not going to stop you from doing that. If you have 4 hands and you can play a shooter with multi-box, more power to you. But we're not deliberately trying to stop people from doing that. Two-way street with anti-cheat. Yeah, it is. Can you unlock stuff through farming enemy kills? Sure, faction. Like you can do it. This works like faction system in any MMO. If you want to just grind faction, there are going to be ways to do that, but it's not the kind of gameplay we really want to encourage, and we're not going to design stuff for that. But will some people do that anyway? Sure. On the marketplace, are you buying skins or are you buying weapons? Also, so you're buying guns with skins, but the gun is no more powerful than another gun you can get in the game, the same gun. So yeah, it's kind of cool. You can also craft stuff and make your own skins, and you can also sell. Effectively, the weapons that we're selling are effectively cosmetics, because they have different skins on them. But they also, one of the cool things about Web3, so like everybody talks shit about it, but let me just tell you, there's some other cool stuff, like provenance of a gun. If Snoop Dogg plays our game and loves it and sells a gun, it'll have his name on there if he played publicly that way. But also you can see how many people have ever been killed from that gun, that sort of stuff. Are we going for tactical realism, or by year 2 we're going to see unicorn outfits? Oh, dude, you have no idea how strong. I have very strong opinions about that particular subject. So here's the truth. We're never going to be Fortnite, but if a year from now, if we're the biggest game in the universe, could I see us selling out? I doubt it, but I'm not going to swear on a stack of Bibles that we wouldn't at some point. When I play COD, I tend to buy the more realistic stuff. I'm not buying the Nicki Minaj skin. I'm not buying but I did buy the Snoop Dogg skin. We wanted to play in between Call of Duty and Tarkov in terms of gunplay. When you get a hold of the game, you will find out that our gunplay is very Call of Duty-ish. That was our internal target. Why? We think it's the best gunplay out there. When can you expect to see gameplay footage? Well, I'm sorry, you just missed it. I just was streaming the game for quite a while. Hopefully somebody Somebody has, yeah, I can't play the game yet. I'm sorry. Yeah, please, anybody, feel free to post videos of this whole thing. I would love that and appreciate it, actually. Yeah, I'll answer a few more questions. I know my wife is going to get on my case because it's almost 1 o'clock here and I'm supposed to be at a barbecue. Can you expect movement tech kind of stuff? Not exactly. I mean, we're not going to have mech suits or anything like that. We do have vehicles. And, you know, from my perspective, I think we have some pretty cool vehicles coming in the game. You know, there are fully multiplayer vehicles, not everyone, like a motorcycle wouldn't be, but, you know, like we have a Jeep in the game right now that can hold 4 players, and it's fun as hell to bounce around the island, roaming around like a death squad. What I was showing earlier, I was the only one on the server, so not terribly interesting, except you're playing against NPCs. It's not that the NPCs aren't fun, it's that the whole point of this game is the PvP, in my opinion. Can you lose skins from dying? No, you can't. No, we're not. That's not us. If you buy something, it's yours, unless you sell it. You know, at least in the Web3 version. The game have lore like character backstories, a hell of a lot of it, and the lore, the backstory of the game is all stuff we write by hand. It's just at some point, you know, do you want to basically when it comes down to for us is, you know, the way we use the LLM is, do you want to have the same wording in, you know, do you want to do the same exact mission, you know, 500 times, or do you want cooler wording of it? Do you want different locations for the same style of mission? Like Cerberus uses a lot of the data that we create to mix and match things and keep it interesting for players. That's all. Oh, if the Twitch Fox, your question about will there be announcer type stuff? No, but I'm a Dota 2 fan. Do I want to find a way to get some cool voice packs in the game and frankly to sell that stuff because I think it's cool? Yeah, I would love that. In my opinion, Dota 2 is still one of the best monetized games in terms of how it's community monetization. You know, people can make their own voice packs. I love that. I play Star Citizen, and there are a couple of cool out of game features that you can actually have, like the voice of your computer in the game coming out. You know, like it's like your Picard or something. It's pretty awesome. Okay, folks. I'm going to have to apologize and excuse myself, but I really greatly enjoyed talking about our game today. It's very exciting for me. And from my perspective, this is a labor of love. The team and I love what we do. We're proud of the game. It's still in development. Public time zone for playtestings. We're going to be playtesting worldwide at different times. It's going to be really fun. So anyways, please share the video of this. Please excuse my cussing, maybe beat those out, but that's okay. I have to work better at that. I'm not, that's hard for me. Anyways, I hope you all have a great rest of your Saturday, and I'm going to go drink some beers and eat some burgers because I was flying back from France yesterday, so I did not get to enjoy July 4th. Take it easy, everyone. Hope you have a good day.